Greetings, everybody. Greetings. It's a wonderful day. All is well in Truth Color Town. Why am I so happy, you said? Well, let me show you. I want to first say salute to all those out there watching. Salute to all those watching by Yisiya Congo Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Yashiyahu Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Lab Ship to Healing REA Facebook page. And salute to all those out there watching by Yisiya Congo YouTube channel. Salute to everyone watching by Bantu by Blood YouTube channel. Since Truth Colors got put in punishment for like 90 days with a strike because we told the truth about COVID-19, mark of the beast, and all the other good stuff. This can now only be seen by permission from me on YouTube on another page, right? Salute to everyone watching by We Are Bantu, Periscope TV, and salute to those who are watching by Yisaya or Bantu Yisolele Twitter page or Twitter account. Salute to Goshen and salute to Michaela and Mike. Daddy loves you. May the kingdom of the Father be done on the earth as it is in the heavens. This is another session of Truth Colors, and I am King Music. Get to it. So I heard some beautiful news today. It almost made me lose me head. We're ready. All right. So what news did I hear today that put me in such a joyful, happy mood? Yeah, let's go here. Right down. just like my internet just dropped off on the face of the earth. But you think person like I was not on There it is. There it is.
Another update from Bloodlight
Let's do this. The party is loud, I know. All right. Let's hear the exciting news.
The Bud Light Summer Stimmy was recently approved. That means Bud Light is buying your first round back at the bar. No more virtual happy hours. No more beers and those weird bubble things. We're bringing people back to corner bars, sports bars, beach bars, taverns, pubs, lounges, roadhouses, dive bars, upscale bars. So you can once again walk up to the bar and say, "Give me a Bud Light."
Learn more at BudLightSummerStimmy.com and please socialize safely.
Nigeria's prophet T.B. Joshua passed away Saturday, only a few days from his 58th birthday, as per an official statement issued Sunday morning by the Synagogue Church of All Nations, founded by Temitokwe Balogun Joshua himself, or the man of God as his millions of followers referred to their beloved spiritual leader of miracles and resurrections, who was also one of the richest pastors in the world, with a Forbes estimated several million US dollar fortune. There was no indication that the Christian preacher, who had spoken just the day before at the Emmanuel TV Partners meeting, was ill, and no exact cause of death has been established. The prophet had his share of critics who dismissed him as a charlatan, fraudster, and recently a homophobe, as just in April, YouTube shut down the church's channel for homophobic hate speech. Nevertheless, there are many who believed in Prophet T.B. Joshua and view his passing as a huge loss to the Christian community.
Let's hear that one more time.
Nigeria's prophet T.B. Joshua passed away Saturday, only a few days from his 58th birthday, as per an official statement issued Sunday morning by the Synagogue Church of All Nations, founded by Temitokwe Balogun Joshua himself, or the man of God as his millions of followers referred to their beloved spiritual leader of miracles and resurrections, who was also one of the richest pastors in the world, with a Forbes estimated several million US dollar fortune. There was no indication that the Christian preacher, who had spoken just the day before at the Emmanuel TV Partners meeting, was ill, and no exact cause of death has been established. The prophet had his share of critics who dismissed him as a charlatan, fraudster, and recently a homophobe, as just in April, YouTube shut down the church's channel for homophobic hate speech. Nevertheless, there are many who believed in Prophet T.B. Joshua and view his passing as a huge loss to the Christian community.
Military-grade drone is taking over the market in the U.S. This is an extremely high-tech $5,000 drone. It was developed so that military observation teams could do recon
Mm, mm, mm. We are so saddened by the passing away of TV Joshua. We pray that the flames don't burn too badly. Man, this right here is a sad day for those in witchcraft. So I went out and got me some nice little celebration. That's what was taking so long. I had to go get dressed up for the occasion, baby. Had to bring a little fake money in because that's what he sold his soul for. Little trinkets, money. Now, get down to business. Got some revelation that's about to just start tipping over to some stuff, right? It's like, it got no sense. I don't. And you'll become more free too when you ain't got no more sense either. When you no longer have yourself together, like the world say you're supposed to have yourself together, guess what? You're gonna be so free. You ain't gonna care if an elephant said you look like something. You ain't gonna care. As long as you're doing what the Father told you to do, you'll be standing there strong, like, I don't care. Say what you gonna say. That's how it's supposed to be. And you won't be asking questions like, what's my purpose? You know, the whole thing, that's what happens to us. I was talking about it today and it's so powerful. Look at this. McDonald's and all these jobs never give you a purpose. They just cause you to fulfill a need for them. But guess what? Who you are comes out of you. Your gift will do what? Make room for you. Meaning what? The things that you're good at, your gifting and all that stuff is what it's all about. So the Father has made you you. Why? Because your gift will make room for you. What in the world are you trying to do? Sheesh. My prayer trying to sign in. It's over saying, do you mean this? Like, no, I mean this one. Put it in. Let's go. Like yesterday. All right. So now, watch this. We got some things to talk about. It's going to be crazy, right? Some of y'all draw. But guess what? Your job keeps you from drawing. You lose the ability of, you're like, well, I don't have the ability to draw no more. No, the gift is there. So a lot of things that these jobs has caused us to do is to lose sight of what we were. We were carpenters. We were painters. Everything that deals with the form of music in some shape or fashion, or instruments to be made for music or for weapons, all the very things, those were our gifts. Those were our talents and the things that we did. Like, for instance, some of the Levites were musicians. They danced, like say Miriam danced before the Father, you know. So a lot of what we are, it comes out of us naturally. It's the same thing with Jeremiah. Jeremiah never asked what he was. The Father told him what he was. Why? Because it's the job of the Father to tell the children what they are. That's why Jacob, he tells each of his children what's going to happen before it does. Because that's the job of a father, is to name their children. When you have to run around this mug and say, who am I? When the genes are already on inside of you, if you have a knack for telling jokes, really good at it, whatnot, then most likely you have either a gift of healing or whatever, because they say what? Like, laughter is good as medicine. So you have a medicine doctor right there inside of it. And I bet you most comedians, they're good with you know what I'm saying, thinking of different remedies for people's illnesses. It just comes natural. If you find yourself, now watch this. The part of the curse was this: misdiagnosing us. So a kid that had a whole bunch of energy, all this person needs, they got ADHD. So our stuff was labeled as disease. When Judah gives the father praise in all kinds of ways. So the boy can't sit down. Why? Because he's not antsy. It's just showing you that he's a vibrant child. Just the same way when it describes David, they said he came before the father, he was ruddy, meaning what? He was full of life. Accounting is about him, was happy. He looked healthy. He didn't look torn down. He didn't look depressed. After the kids got put on Ritalin, guess what happened to them? Depression came in. So instead of joy, the moment they could get up and run and be who they was, there was more joy in them. They can learn, they can pick up everything they need to pick up. It was so like, why you notice when your kid is moving all around, they're getting all the answers right. The moment you say, sit down, stop being who you are, they begin to start forgetting the answers to stuff. You can be like, wait a minute, you already know this. What's wrong? What's going on? You're stopping them from being what they are. Society has caused us to stop and to grow and to stunt the growth of our people and us altogether. They gave us Ritalin. Why? To calm you down. And most people who's on Ritalin, guess what? These are when the different secret friends will come in. This is when, they start to think depression and nobody wants me and nobody loves me. But the moment that person is all happy, giddy, before all that, it was not like that. That's why people were like, what happened to you? Why have you changed? Because that medicine has came in and now it's like a weed eating away the purpose or literally what that person was created to be. So this person ends up taking on a job that's not a job most people, they made their living off of their gifts. Think about that for a minute. The Messiah made a living off of being a carpenter. His gifting was what? Ta-da! Carpentry or a woodworking. Now, so a person who was a ironsmith or a metalsmith, I wonder what his occupation in life would be. Ta-da! Working with metals. And those were all our jobs. So our jobs was literally our purposes. Is what we was created to do. It came out of us naturally. Now, since we're in a curse, even though we have some kind of money and we're working a job, it's not a job that fulfills. Because that's what it is. It's a job. It's not your gifting. So therefore, there's never no room for you in these type of businesses because it's not what you were created to do. So therefore, you don't really have a gifting in this area. In fact, you don't even want to care to even develop a gifting in this area, and that's what it is. Now think about David. David was a king, a priest, but he was a musician. He did all the stuff through music. So everything he did will be around music, celebration, dances, festivals will be held at his place. Party at my house, you know what I'm saying? And the father will be right there like, it's time for the feast. Call him down, King David. Hey, it's time to come on in. Come on down to Jerusalem. It's the time when we're going to kick back. You have a little strong drink, have a little fun in your life. This is the feast, man. Ain't going to be no kind of work. If you work, you're going to die. And I really mean that. If you go to work, you're going to die. The only thing you are allowed to do, you are allowed to make food for the feast, and you're allowed to be merry. They had to take breaks. This was a requirement. But in America, they don't really require you to really take breaks. They say, keep working, because that's how you're going to get anywhere. The only way they're going to be going is to the grave. So a lot of our purposes is locked up in what you like to do. Many of you know how to work with medicines. It just comes naturally to you. You're like a doctor. It's coming out of you. Your thing will be helps. You'll be the medical provider. Now, some of you like to work with your hands. Man, you know what I'm saying? This job is all right, but I'm not really fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? I really like to, work with my hands. Well, what you got to do? Well, I like to, in my spare time, it's like a little hobby of mine like that, but I like to build chairs and stuff. I'm actually right now working on my first couch. You know what I'm saying? It's just something inside of me I've just been working on, but it's funny how I can see the details of how things are supposed to be made. What is that? What kind of job is that? What kind of purpose is that? It's all in a detail right there. So the curse was we begin to fulfill a need. What is that, family? Slavery. They went and got us as slaves because they had a need to be fulfilled. And so they went and got our people and brought them down here and watch this. And then they would get jobs that were detailed according to the business need, no longer according to the person's talent. And then you have to acquire these talents from going to school. When the stuff doesn't come out of you naturally, these things you have to be taught. And majority of the stuff you're being taught to get to this so-called degree, you get a degree made from lies. We never been to the moon, but you have to remember that. Most of the stuff in history is all wrong. But if you don't get the right paragraph right of when Thomas Edison did this or when George Washington did this, then you're going to be flunked in this society. So you're no longer going to have time to focus on your gift and develop it. You only have time to focus on what this slave master wants you to do to fulfill his need. So you're fulfilling his need, getting paid for it, but not being fulfilled on the inside. Why? Because your gift will make room for you, meaning it will be fulfilling. It's something you love to do, something you get paid for, and everything like that. That's not work, even though it's work, but it's not work. And it's also what? Peace. It's rest. You can rest peacefully. But most of you got jobs and you're stressed out 24/7. You're stressed out all day. But the moment you go to work, like, you don't have the right job when you touch the door and you realize you clocked in like, I'm ready to go home. I'm just, dude, what you say? I'm ready to go home. You just got here like a minute ago. I know I don't want to be here. I'd rather go home here. Here. But I'm here though. And then the boss say something to you, that boss got one more time to yell at me. And we're gonna have some words. And on that day, I know I ain't gonna have a job. But you know what? I don't care. When you don't care for going off on a boss that you're gonna lose your job, that means you have had enough. You are unfulfilled. You are no longer serving a purpose. Even though you're being fed, meaning allowed to live by actually having a roof and everything else over your head and got a little food in your belly, just enough to keep things going, you're now running without a vision. And they say, where there's no vision, the people perish. Meaning what? You're now in a perishing mode. You're headed towards destruction. Because you don't see. When the whole entire time you can see, it's all in your gift. Your gift will make room for you. But the reason why you feel that way is because there's no room for you at this place. In the room that's there, you don't want it. Why? Because it's still not room for you. Like, wait a minute. It's not room where I can be who I am. They don't know I make creams, but that's what I like to do. I want to experiment with these creams because I have ideas that would be dope. And at the same time, it will provide not just, a covering, but it'll provide healing to the body. Cuts that's been there for 20 years, they use my product, that they'll be healed in their bodies. So everything, through all these giftings is coming out. You know, like, man, in my spare time, I hate doing this, but in my spare time, I like to draw. In my spare time, you know, I'm working on this video game because, you know what I'm saying, I've always liked games and I wanted to make my own game, you know what I'm saying, like that, because I didn't think it was actually too hard to make or do. These are all giftings. Your giftings is crying out. And watch this, what you're doing. Father, I wish you would show me who I am. Like, you know, like, what's my purpose? What have I been sent here to do? And we learn that from Christianity. When the Bible says, can the pot say to the potter, what are you making? What was the Father saying? The Father always puts inside of you what you are. So it comes out naturally. That's how you could tell Jeremiah, you're a prophet. Tell Isaiah, hey, you're a prophet. Neither one of them said, hey, I'm a prophet. No, the Father was like, look, after he literally cleaned up Isaiah, cleaned up his mouth, he says, who can I send? And then Isaiah was able to respond, send me, I'll go. Same thing, the kings are chosen. The Father chooses them. He gives them purpose. Hey, this is your purpose. The same thing with Abraham. Leave your father's house. Everything is the purpose where the Father speaks to us. So now, since we don't talk about purpose, the name of the Father is going to be hidden as a parable. Right? Now, what do we need right now in the world? So every single time the Father will meet with his people, when he's about to do something new, it'll be like a new name that was given. So now, the way the Father is with us is the same way he gives us certain names. So that names represent something. So when a person needed something, he showed up as this. So when Abraham needed something, they said, well, that's when people start saying Jehovah Jireh, Yah, my provider, you know what I'm saying? So what the person needed is what the name was that the Father gave to that person. You shall call me this. Why? Because you know me to be what? Your provider. You need me to provide. Now, what is our basic, what is our current situation? So therefore, what would be the name that the Father would give us to be able to be close to him or to contact him? What would be that name? Now, mind you this, remember the word says that, the word says a good name is to be chosen rather than silver, gold, riches, or anything. So, since the Father hates unjust balances, if the name, what does the name Jesus mean? Does it match the situation that's going on now? The Father hid his name inside of his leaders. Inside of Noah was the word grace. So Father saved him, you know, with his grace. He didn't destroy. And every single time when destruction comes, the Father always shortened the days so that the elect can continue to live on. That's in every instance. Even with the flood, he shortened those days so that the elect could live. Now, what do we need at this very moment? You're going to notice the Messiah said some things. Let me show you. It says Isaiah. What's this? Spoke correctly of you. Look what he's going to say. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you when he said, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. He is telling you the condition of the people. Watch, he goes even further. They what? Have eyes, but cannot see. He has said a lot. Look, in Psalm 135, it says the same thing, right? The idols of the nations are silver and gold, made by the hands of men. They have mouths, but cannot speak. They have eyes, but cannot see. They have ears, but cannot hear, nor is there breath in their mouths. Now watch what he says. Jeremiah. Hear now this old foolish people and without understanding, who have eyes and see not, and have ears and hear not. Now watch this. Israel's only savior. Look what it says. Bring out the people who have eyes but are blind, who have ears but are deaf. So, everyone is called by my name and created for my glory, whom I have indeed formed and made. So Joshua means Yah's deliverance. So what is what? I mean the same thing as salvation. Now, Isaiah means Yah is salvation. Salvation of Yah. Now watch the other one. Okay. So whatever we need at the moment, that is what the Father's name will be. Now, the Son said, I come in my Father's name. I have come in my Father's name, and you have not received me. But if someone comes in his own name, you will receive him. Now, the Messiah's name is Y-I-S-A. Look, right here. They said that's Jesse. Yeshaya is Jesse. Meaning gift. Biblical, Yeshaya was the father of King David. Now, you might also say Shai, David, Yashayahu, Yeshaya. Now, the Messiah says, I am the root and I am the branch. I am the root and the offspring of David. And we just saw that Yeshaya means both. It means David. It means, look at all this stuff, what it means. Son of Jesse, being Yeshaya. The role as both father of King David and ancestor of the Messiah. Yeshaya. Ruth and Boaz, how they all come together. From Obed. Yeshaya's name means door or means doctor. This part right here, they were saying like Yeshaya, name meaning of Yeshaya, name, doctor. So it has other different kind of meaning, right? So we have Yah with us, or salvation, because the way we spell it is what? We got Yashayahu. We have our brother who actually checked everything out, Charles, and he looked up the name of Yashayahu. And this is literally Isaiah. They admit it means Yah is salvation, but they try to cover up the liberation. So, Yeshaya or Yesaya, Congo, meaning salvation, which is what? Isaiah. Now, everything is going to be tied in. So we're going to have parables that is going to be said, that's going to be pointing the whole entire time to salvation. All right. Watch this. So Messiah says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He also goes on to say, watch this, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, they are my enemies. Like tabernacle. Then we find out now that Yeshaya is literally the root of all of that. Yah is salvation. Shua, salvation. Isaiah, salvation. So many shall come in my name and shall deceive the flocks. Save. Now, if the Father has to deliver us, he's going to deliver us in the name of the Son. And the Son has the Father's name. So literally at this time, the name of the Father and of the Son, meaning the whole time I'm in church, we saying it in different ways, like the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. And then we say them one, but say they all have different names. If the Son comes in the Father's name, wouldn't that not also be the Father's name? Why is it out of all this time, something that was so simple was made so deep by the church, but its simplicity is right in the context. We begin to read into the context, but people have a context of their own mind of what they believe to be true and what they believe not to be true. If the Son said he comes in his exact Father's name, he didn't say I come based. Let me see if we can find that in scripture real quick. Based on my Father's name, so I've come. Let me see if we can find that in scripture. Based on the Father's name, I have come. See if we can find that. Oh, nope. It says, I have come in my what? Father's name. So that's a guarantee. I have literally come in my Father's name. So if you are literally coming in the Father's name, then that means whatever your name is, that's the Father's name. Because his name must mean salvation. That means the Father's name will be Isaiah, Yeshaya. That's why it says, blessed is he said, you will never see me again. You will never, ever, 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 ever until you give honor to the one who comes in my name. He said, you will never see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of. Now, since the Son was the one who came, that's why it says, many shall come. He didn't say, he said, many shall come in my name. Many shall come in my name. And do what? Deceive people. Notice it does not say that many say they will come in. Look at this. He says, I have come in my Father's name and you haven't received me. But if someone else comes in his own name, you will receive him. He says, for many will come in my name. He didn't say my Father's name. He said many will come in my name. So signifying the blessed one who comes in the name of what they say the master is not coming in the Father's name, even though it's the Father's name, but this person is coming to represent the Messiah who is to come again. Are y'all getting this? Look what it says. For I tell you, you will not see me again, until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of what? Of him. Because he has come already in his Father's name and gave glory unto his Father while he was here. And the Father glorified him. But now the Messiah says, hey, I'm sending one in my name. And me and my Father are one. And you will not see me, the Son of Yah, again, until you give honor to the one I'm going to send. Now, let me ask you a question. The person who is to come or is to be here have we given honor unto them? It's going to happen most likely at the time when they die. When they find out, like, wait a minute. Blessed is he who came in what? In the Son's name. And the Son has come in the Father's name. So blessed is he who has come as a representative of the kingdom. So now this ties in perfectly with scripture where it says that my angel, it says, do not defile him, for my name is in him. So that means a person's name will be named the name that means salvation. Isaiah. That's the Father's name. The Father's name is Josiah. Just as Charles did the research and found out, he said, you know what I found out about the name of Yashayahu? Now remember again, who named me? Did I name myself? Or did the Father give me the names I have? Now, the names will be different because they're going to tie us into some different things. And it's going to speak volumes of where we at. Let's go. So now Isaiah will be saying, people who cannot see or hear the Father tells him to do what? What he says, Isaiah's commission. And he replied, go and tell these people, be ever hearing, but never understanding. Be ever seeing, but never perceiving. Now, your condition is tied into this prophecy. The Messiah says to them, in them, the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. He said that you will be deaf, and he said that you will be blind. Now, what does this speak on? Remember Hosea. Let's bring it out. See, I mean, family, I know this is probably a little deep for people. People are like, man, this is a little bit deep today. We in a little bit deep. He ain't even hit us with the intro yet. So let me go hit y'all with the intro. Give y'all a little break off y'all brain real quick. But hold on, we're gonna bring up Hosea, and then I'm gonna give you a little break for your brain. People's like, dude, he ain't got nothing but time. All right, look. He just said this to you in a name. For Yisrael must live many days without a king or a prince, without sacrifice or sacred pillar, and without an ephod and an idol. Now, this is where the prophets come from. Now, prophets were not really called prophets back in those days. They were called seers. And a seer could hear as well as see. What is he saying to them? Say to these people, this will be at a time when your kingdom is taken from you, where there are no real seers. And he replied, go and tell these people, be ever hearing, but never understanding. Be ever seeing, but never perceiving. You will not have a kingdom at this time. Your kingdom are going to be stripped from you, and the seer will be done away. That's why many will come in my name, saying that I'm the one who sent them, but this is not going to be happening while your kingdom is no longer in existence. But the one who is sent in my name will be the one where my spirit dwells on. He was telling you in a name. My name is Isaiah, and the one I'm sending will be coming in my name. No other name will they come in. My sheep knows my voice, will follow Isaiah. The ones who are not my sheep will not follow. Now watch this. Heart of Psalms means David. Isaiah, either an I or even Y. But then music, and you got dim. Son, you're going to go to a dark place, and in a dark place, they will receive you. Now, dim is meaning of what? People faint, dingy, dull, pale, what? Imperfect. Don't have light, right? They're fading. They're darkened. Son of people, look, people make or become less bright or distinct. Son, you're going to go to a dark place, a dim place, because the opposite of dim is bright. You're going to go to a dark place, and in a dark place, they will receive you. Now, watch this, son. In your name,
dim,
is also another thing that's tied in. Also, in the midst of DIM, spelled backwards. So watch this. Since everything is in reverse, it puts us to the word mid. Now, if you bring out the understanding of what mid means, look what it gives us. In the middle.
Mid.
So the middle part or position of a range, pronounced with the tongue, neither high nor low. So it's mid-central. Now watch how this matches perfectly. Lord hates unjust scales. Dishonest scales are abomination to Yah, but an accurate weight, balanced weight, is his delight. That's the middle. Because over in Africa, scale. Let's see where the temple is at. See where it takes us at. See where everything is popping at. Where is that one that I normally do? All right, scale, center. No. That scale, what is it? Equator. Look what the African line equator is at. You can't make this stuff up. Center, right here. And look where it's at. Kenya. The stone the builders have rejected have become the chief cornerstone. So right in here is be where the temple of the kingdom would lie. This is the place where home is. At the center, the middle of everything. So this will be the head that guards everything. Everything flows on down into the Democratic Republic of the Congo and everything else that people want to call. But right here at the center of everything is where the Father will rule all nations. So the kingdom would have to be somewhere in here. But it's going to be in Kenya. Now, if you go here to equatorial, watch this. Now the Father says unjust weights is not his thing. This one we want. Now I've done this before many times. This might be people's first time seeing it. So let's do it. All right. The Father's kingdom cannot be up here. Why? Because this is 23.05 north. And that's over close where Israel and all that stuff would be at, where they call Jerusalem. So it won't be here. Nor down here. where it'll be close towards where the mouth is. This is where your mouth is, right? So here is the nose, here's the upper lip, here's the bottom lip, here's inside the mouth, right in here. This is 23.5 south. Will not work for where the kingdom will be at. But look, you are the apple of my eye. Center. This is where the kingdom of the Father would be at, right in here. The balanced portion. Isaiah. D-I-M. I'm going to send you to a dark place. And in a dark place, they will receive you. Dim. Reverse it. Mid. Center. Balance. Righteousness. Holiness. All right here. And it's in the center. Equatorial. Equator. These all being discovered in the name. The Messiah was leaving behind clues. His words, all of them are parables. I will open my mouth in parables, giving us locations, telling us exactly what we need to do. If I told you the perfect plan, would you follow it to the T? Be like, what is it? It's a beautiful song. But Father he's speaking to us through the music. Hey, now watch this. Now this ties in perfectly when he says, I thank you, Father. I thank you, Father, for what? For hiding the truth in plain sight. They're being destroyed while the book is open. That's why they're going to show up and say, watch this. Haven't we not done these things in your name? We're going to go there in a little bit. And I'm going to show you what's happening on this day. Rest for the weary. At the time of rest, when Father is bringing forth what? Salvation is at the door. Before salvation comes, you're going to get a little bit of rest, moving you into a millennial reign of rest. At the time the Messiah declared, I praise you, Father, heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned, the wise and prudent, and revealed them to little children. Now the word says, you search the scriptures. So just because you search the scriptures don't mean nothing if you don't have any understanding of what you're reading. You'll come up with your own interpretation every single time that will bring forth destruction to your life. But the scripture is going to bear witness to every season and condition of the people. When he says, hey, say to his people, see, but you can't see, hear, but you can't hear. He was saying your kingdom is about to be taken from you. Because the seers were the seers from Father. They heard and they saw. Nor does his word abide in you, because you do not believe the one he sent. You pore over the scriptures because you presume that by them you possess eternal life. These are the very words that testify about me, yet you refuse to come to me to have life. Everything must be done in decent and in order. And the Father always does that. So he will literally put out scripture in context and hide the truth from those who think they know it. The Father just told us what is going to happen. At the time when I said Isaiah, you will be in the middle of everything. In the process of what? You'll be right in the middle of me calling you back home. Now watch this. My sheep knows my voice, and a stranger voice they will not follow. Now, you gotta understand some things. It says he goes and makes war with the rest of her children. Somebody heard a call and they left at the right time before persecution came. Watch. The woman persecuted. And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle to fly from the presence, to fly, to escape the contributions of this serpent, right? To escape having a bar or having a code put upon their hand or their forehead. They escaped before it was made legal. They escaped. 2 wings of a great eagle to fly from the presence. They fled. They escaped from the presence of the serpent to her place. They went home to her place in the wilderness. So these people were given a middle time to escape before, watch this, what happened to the rest of the people, where she was nourished for a time and times and half time. Meaning what? She went into the millennial reign, the millennial rest. Watch this. Then from the mouth of the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman who had escaped and try to sweep her away in a torrent. Watch this. But the earth helped the woman. So there's protection there. So when the attacks come, people will be up there speaking some things that's going to thwart that attack. But watch this. And open his mouth to swallow up the river that had poured from the dragon's mouth. Now watch this. And the dragon was wroth at the woman. Wait a minute. The woman is separated from the rest. And the dragon was enraged at the woman and went. Wait a minute. Hold up. There's some more people of the woman that didn't escape. And went to make war, wait a minute, with the rest of her children. So a birth take place, but everybody didn't leave. Some escaped while others stayed. Let's see what happened to them. And he went to make war with the rest. Let me make y'all see that on the screen. He went to make war with the rest of her children who kept the commandments of Yah and hold to the testimony of the word. And the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. So the ones who were able to make an escape before some stuff became legal, they were the ones who were protected from what was coming next. The ones who were not, who didn't make that escape after this birth, were the ones who were attacked. But the ones who made it to the wilderness, they didn't have to go through what the ones who didn't make it to the wilderness had to go through. They're the same people, but all of them didn't make it to the wilderness to escape persecution. If you've seen that they're persecuting, you see it knocking at the door. You see it. No one really got to say it to you. It's here. We already see that Denmark literally is the mark. Let me show that for people on the screen so people understand what Denmark is. Google. Translate. Den in German gives us the word the. Now, let's add mark to it. Denmark is the mark. So this is where the mark of the beast is going to come from. Denmark. Now, who has relations with Denmark now? Denmark and none other than whom? Bill Gates. Oh, wow. And Fuji. But Bill Gates is over this. They hired Bill Gates hired a Danish factory to do what? To make drugs for this COVID-19. See? So something's already being manufactured, right? Now, keep your eyes on Denmark. Now, what's the next thing that Denmark is doing? Denmark travel bar, scam bar. Look at this, May 28, 2021. So it's here, but it started here in Danes. Copenhagen, Denmark. The Danish government on Friday presented its digital coronavirus passport. All right, hold on, let me get out of some of this because I don't want my voice to be sounding like, yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and do the trailer right here. Remember, we own Denmark. So that's a good part to come back in on, right? So let's get it in. I can tell I'm excited. This is a lot of breaking news right here, right? Just straight up in your face, just crazy, right? So best believe when I got this revelation, it was eating me. I've been up here just trying to hold my composure. I've been trying to hold my composure, but I ain't been doing a good job of it, you know what I'm saying? Because it was just blowing my mind. The Father's word is through and through. Like every single thing he said is calculated, and he knows what's going on before it happens. He even tells you about your leader. He puts it all out there in the scriptures. Like it's how to spot the leader. He tells you exactly what the leader would be going through at the time when he sends him.
Other Psalms.
Revelations. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark into his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Satan cast into the lake of fire. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. The great white throne. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was in the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their works, in death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. But I will tell you what will happen to cowards and to everyone who is unfaithful or dirty-minded or who murders or is sexually immoral or uses witchcraft or worships idols or tell lies. They will be thrown into that lake of fire and burning sulfur. This is the second death.
Your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Hey, who I said your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Multitude like the haters, not your haters.
Beats by other songs.
Truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors. Ayy, when you learn the truth, it will set you free. Many are held captive, stolen identity. But let me just shoot the breeze, release you from Satan's squeeze. He's all like enemies, no matter the color you see. That truth frame, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, yeah, yeah, truth colors.
Let's see something. There's a little celebration and for TB Joshua being dead. Praises, all praises. I mean, it's dead finally. All right. Now, let's go back to the Danes. So Dane's passport. Right. All right. Dane's present digital coronavirus passport for travel abroad. Copenhagen, Denmark, AP. The Danish government on Friday presented. Now, when a presentation means like you've been working on this for a while, now we're ready to present it. We're ready to unfold it. Now, the mask was supposed to serve as a, how can I put it? A place mark while we develop the real thing that we're trying to do, which is this chip right here. We're trying to get everybody to this mark, okay? This marking, the mark of the beast. The Danish government on Friday presented its digital coronavirus passport, enabling people to travel abroad or in Denmark. Just notice it's only saying in Denmark only. In Denmark, go to the hairdresser, a tattoo parlor, dine inside a restaurant, or wherever else it is needed. Look what it says. Your basic functions, necessities, or wants can be realized if you have this mark on you, if you're carrying it, right? Now watch this. The Corona passport we present today can be used from July 1st. So that means what? Today, according to their timeline, that was May 28th. So today's date is, I got the timeline over here, but I'm looking for theirs. I can look up here and look at my timeline. And it looks a little bit blurry from this way, right here. But today is June 6th, right? So now let's see how long it will be before they're able to put that into practice. So today is the 6th. So let's count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 days to the exact. They will have a new law instated. The Corona passport we present today can be used from July 1st. That is like 24 days from now. When you can travel, watch this. When you can travel, right now, it cannot be used. So when you can travel within the EU, so right now, there must be what? Restrictions in Denmark. Restrictions, or should I say travel restrictions in Denmark. There we go. Last updated May 17, 2021. When is this paper updated? The 28th, right? May 28th, 2021. So let's see what's going on. Effective January 26th, all airline passengers to the United States ages 2 years and older must provide a negative COVID-19 viral test taken within 3 calendar days of travel. Alternatively, travelers to the U.S. may provide documentation from a licensed health care provider of having recovered from COVID-19 in the 90 days preceding travel. Check the CDC website for additional information and frequently asked questions, meaning what? If we have proof that you have already been vaccinated, then you're going to be covered for 90 days versus the one we don't know that you have been, covered by the vaccination. So we're going to give you 3 days. We can't force it on you yet, So we're going to make it a little bit hard on you. Those who have been certified or have already received our drug or received our death administration, you have 90 days to travel. The door is open for 90 days. For those who have not, 3 days. Now, country-specific information. The Danish border is closed to most travelers from the United States. Danish authorities have not set a firm date for when the border may reopen to tourism from the United States. Remember, they say you're going to be traveling within the EU. Measures to mitigate COVID-19 in Denmark change frequently, often with little to no notice. What does it say? We can change the rules whenever we feel like it. If we feel like, twinkle my nose, man, you know what? Even I just got through saying that 5 minutes ago, we're going to revoke that. We didn't say that. We forget that we said it. It don't happen no more, okay? We can change it whenever we want to. That's pretty much how their law works. In Denmark, change is like mitigate COVID-19 in Denmark change frequently, often with little to no notice. Like some things might be changed and like, well, what did the website say? Don't worry about what the website say. It's what we just said right now. So we can give you notice about the change, or that means we can make it up as we want to go along. You know what? We say you can't fly until you jump rope 21 times. What? But that wasn't in the statement. We just made it. It's in there now. See, we can do it whenever we feel like it. Whatever we say, go. If I say you can't leave until you touch your toes, you can't leave until you touch your toes. Well, that's not on the website. It don't matter. We can change the rules with little to no notice at all. I mean, we ain't got to tell you. Bookmark the Danish government COVID-19 website available in English to have the most up-to-date information about travel restrictions and other measures in place in the country. Notice it keeps saying in the country. It's just a separation. The U.S. Embassy in Copenhagen cannot give U.S. citizens permission to enter Denmark. COVID-19 testing are PCR and an antigen test available for U.S. citizens in Denmark? Yes. If so, are test results reliably available within 72 hours? Yes. How to get a COVID test in Denmark? Please note the Department of State assumes no responsibility. Watch this. Please note the Department of State assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional ability or reputation of or the quality of services provided by the entities or individuals whose names appear on the following list. Inclusion on this list is in no way an endorsement by the Department of the U.S. government. The order in which names appear has no significance for U.S. citizen residents in Denmark. That's crazy. So they're saying that if you die in any respects, we're not held liable. But you still have to either get a test or have the COVID-19, vaccination. But if you die from it, hey, it's not our fault who you chose to administer the COVID-19 test. That was on you. That's crazy. But that's what it's saying. If you have NIM ID, the easiest way to book an appointment for a COVID-19 test is online via Corona Prover. Corona Prover. Wow. DK. Your test results will be posted usually within 24 hours. The Sunhead DK showed your negative test result from the Sunhead DK website to the airline agent to board a flight bound for the United States. You may also call the emergency line 1813 on Corona Hotline 40. They got a Corona Hotline. Corona Hotline 45-70-20-0233. If you are unable to book a testing time online, or if you have questions about getting tested for COVID-19, a full list of COVID-19 testing centers in Denmark can be found on the Danish Medical Authority website. And it says we're not liable for the doctors or the different problems you might or complications you might meet up on a site. So if a person shows up and kill you, we're not liable for the person's professional occupation. For U.S. Citizen tourists, non-residents in Denmark, tourists and others without NEM ID can be tested at many test sites in Denmark at no charge. Look at that. See, tourists and others with MID, meaning what? Those who have already been shot. The ones who have already been shot. NEM ID is a common login solution for Danish interbanks, government websites, and some other private companies. NEM is managed by the Nets. Wow. Dan ID's AS company and came into use on July 1st, 2010. So they've been planning this for 10 years. Now, when did Bill Gates thing come out? So this thing has been in play since 2010. Bill Gates says what he says, 2011. It's almost like a month before it, a month and a year before that came out. So July, let's see. If we do a good job in healthcare, Bill Gates. All right. Here we go. Now, the paper is going to show 2011, but they're going to say that this was published in 2014 or something like that. Now we see something that was already put into play in 2010. Shows furthermore that it was planned. That's in 2011. Let's get it a little bit closer. There it is. June 2011. So now we have a motive. It came into use July 1st, 2010. And then a year and a day later, it was put into use in June 2011. So 2010, this was created. 2011 is when they already began to start working, telling you what the next plan for that 2010 NEM ID being created. Depopulation through forced vaccination, the zero carbon solution. And it's for what? Tourists and others without the MID can be tested at many test sites in Denmark at no charge. However, some Danish health authorities will call you if your test is positive, and they will not provide you with a written documentation of your test result except for a pop-up testing centers and SOS international testing centers. The following private, meaning everyone's not involved, private healthcare providers in Denmark offer COVID-19 testing and documentation, either in writing or digital, of the test result. In Copenhagen, Danish regions testing centers offer free quick test antigen tests to citizens over the age of 12. The quick test doesn't require an appointment and it is free of charge. You don't need CPR number or NEM ID to receive a test result. Results are sent as a link by email or text message. They got all these different names. Test site replaces what was behind the park near the stadium. Look at these different things. So this thing's been in play. They already had it in play the whole entire time. So airport, medical, clinic, terminal, 2 across, check-in, 102, first floor, book line, resolve 45 minutes. Look at this, 350. Result after 2 hours, 2.4 fees must be paid online. So if you want results after 45 minutes, that would be $350. But if you want result after 2 hours, $240. Business and private test centers. Booking online, including certificate. Result after 2 hours. Price $180. Fees must be paid online. Results after 2 hours. Other private link clinics in Copenhagen. Hospital, Alaris, Hamlet. Look at all this. It's big money. Look like they said 1,380 per sample. The price of the test is $595. 1,450. They're getting really up there, right? The answer was sent electronically and can be obtained as an encrypted COVID-19 certificate. Price Monday through Friday before 11, $950. Friday after 11, Sunday, $1,450. Testing does not require CPR, NR, and NMID. If the person requires a medical certificate, the clinic uses the passport or number. Results sent via email. Look, it's a big old business right now. The PCR test is 850 DKK if test result is needed before 1,500. If test results is needed before 2,300, the PCR test is 1,150. The price of the antigen test is 480. Tons of money, right? They're racking it in. Corona test. For some information on limited humanitarian exemptions, to COVID-19 testing, requirements for travel to the United States, please review the following page. Has the government of Denmark approved a COVID-19 vaccine for use? Yes, that's what they're trying to encourage you to do. Are vaccines available in Denmark for U.S. citizens to receive? Yes. Which vaccines are available in Denmark? Look at these different names. Comirnaty, Pfizer, Bio, Nanotech. It's combination. COVID-19 vaccination, Moderna, Vaxzevria, Oxford, AstraZeneca. Vaxzevria has been temporarily suspended in Denmark. I wonder why. Danish health authorities information about COVID-19 vaccination. So they have all these websites showing you how to get hold of them, but their whole thing they're trying to get you is to take the vaccination. That's what they want you to do. Entry and exit requirements. Are U.S. citizens permitted to enter? No, unless the traveler qualifies for the EU and/or Danish travel exception. The Danish border closure imposed on March 14 remains in place for travelers for the United States. Only U.S. citizens who qualify for a travel exception called a worthy purpose, by the Danish government can enter Denmark. Some travel exceptions, including having a valid residence permit for Denmark, attending a business meeting, or being the spouse, parent, or child of a Danish citizen or legal residence in Denmark. Refer to the complete list of worthy purposes on the Danish government COVID-19 information page, available in English, to determine if your purpose of travel is permissible. If you consider your purpose of travel critical, but it does not appear within the worthy purpose list, contact the Danish National Police Hotline at 45 70 20 60 44 to determine if your purpose of travel is permissible. The hotline is open weekdays at 8 a.m. 8 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. The local time on weekdays or weekends and holidays from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. local time. Travel to Denmark under Danish Sweetheart. We be having what? Different holidays called Sweetheart, like a little small national holidays in certain states. Not all states get it, but there's a day that they call Sweetheart. Declaration, exception. The Danish government permits sweethearts, fiancés, and other close relations of Danish citizens or foreign nationals legally residing in Denmark to enter Denmark. This exception is Denmark specific and does not apply to all countries within the Schengen zone or EU. If you are traveling to Denmark under the Sweetheart Declaration, you are strongly encouraged to take a non-stop flight from the United States to Denmark to ensure a smooth entry into the country. U.S. citizens have been denied entry into the Schengen area EU when attempting to transit a third country in Europe en route to Denmark for this purpose of travel. Meaning, like if you're trying to get to Denmark, you have to take a flight straight from the United States of America into Denmark. No stop office, no parts where you have to we have layovers. There can be no layovers. They're literally just non-stop flights. So if you can make it from the United States of America straight into Denmark, then we'll let you in. But if you have to stop off somewhere, then we reserve the right to stop you off right there at the gate, say you can't come in. Travel for no reason, right? Many Schengen area ports of entry are strictly enforcing the European Union travel restrictions on non-essential travel from outside the EU, which does not include sweetheart travelers from the United States, to avoid issues at the port of entry. Take a non-stop flight from the United States to Denmark for this purpose of travel. Detailed instructions on what you must present to the Danish border authorities when seeking entry for this purpose of travel can be found on the Danish government COVID-19 information page available in English. So they're already telling you what they're about to get ready to roll out to the rest of the world. This right here would be the woman seeing something getting ready to happen, and then the birthing would be what? Her coming to herself. Wait a minute. I ain't from here. This is not home. It's time to go home. Father, I want to go home. Then you begin to do what? Start to sell all that you have. Why? So you can prepare to leave this place. You're about to escape persecution, because that's what's about to happen to the rest of the world, is persecution. People are going to be forced in many ways to take on this mark. America is yet to come out with theirs, but Denmark is already leading the way, and it's all started from Bill Gates. Greenland, tourism. Travel to Greenland is not permitted at this time due to COVID-19. See, they're telling you where you can travel, where you can't travel. That is called control. The government of Greenland maintains a COVID-19 information page with up-to-date entry requirements available only in Greenlandic and Danish. There are some exceptions to the Greenland border closures, including travel for life and death emergencies. If you believe you qualify as an exception to the border closures, you must apply for entry by following the instructions provided by the government of Greenland. If your application to travel to Greenland is approved, travelers must present a negative COVID-19 test results taken in the Nordic country: Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and Faroe Islands, no more than 72 hours before travel. All travelers to Greenland must also complete a summat form prior to entry, which contains your itinerary and lodging details in Greenland. That form can be found on Greenlandic government COVID-19 information page. The Greenlandic National Medical Office has additional information about COVID-19 in Greenland, available in Greenlandic and Danish. You can also call the Greenlandic COVID-19 Travel and Visitation Group for specific questions about travel to or within the Greenland. So now they're having travel going on about its people. If you have this mark, that's going to be effective when? In 24 days. Denmark, effective May 1st, all travelers to Denmark for the United States, including Danish citizens, must have a negative, must, that's a rule, must have a negative COVID-19 test taken within 48 hours, not 72, but 48 hours prior to travel in order for an airline to board you on the flight bound for Denmark. In addition, most travelers must have a rapid test taken upon arrival at the airport. More money, right? Check the Danish government COVID-19 information page for the most up-to-date testing requirements. Greenland travelers to Greenland must present a negative COVID-19 test result taken in a Nordic country, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and Faroe Islands no more than 72 hours prior to travel. Detailed information can be found on the Greenlandic government COVID-19 information page. Are health screening procedures in place at airports and other ports of entry? Yes. So when I used to now screen your bags, now they're going to be screening you too. Effective February 7th, all travelers to Denmark age 15 and older must have a rapid test taken upon arrival at the airport. Wow. First, you have to have the stuff taken before you get to the airport. Now, when you get to the airport, you got to have this test taken. They're really taking it about you. Check the Danish government COVID-19 information page for the most up-to-date testing requirements. They literally don't want people to leave Copenhagen or people to leave Danish. They don't want people to leave Denmark. Movement restrictions. See what it says? Movement restrictions. Is a curfew in place? No. Might as well have one. Are there restrictions on intercity or interstate travel? No. Quarantine information. Are U.S. citizens required to quarantine? Denmark, yes. Greenland, yes. Travelers from the United States must isolate for 10 days upon arrival to the country. The isolation period may be shortened if a traveler obtains a negative. You got to buy something when you get there. Buy a negative PCR test taken no earlier than the fourth day after entry to Denmark. So you got 4 days to present that you don't have COVID-19, right? Detailed information about isolation and testing requirements, including the limited expectations available, are found on a Danish government COVID-19 information page. Woo-hoo! It's crazy, right? Greenland travelers from the United States to Greenland must be quarantined. You must quarantine upon arrival. So what if you're only supposed to be there for like, 10 days? How long is your quarantine going to last? Detailed information can be found on the Greenlandic government COVID-19 information page. Transportation option. Are commercial flights operating? Denmark, yes. Greenland, no. Is public transportation operating? Yes. Public transport passengers are required to wear face masks or shields. Commercial flights to the Greenland suspended. Airline passengers must wear surgical face masks from the moment they enter a terminal and while on board a flight until they leave the terminal after their arrival. Fines for non-compliance. Wow. Danish national policy may fine individuals for violating COVID-19 regulations. The fine for violations of mandatory testing and isolation rules for persons entering Denmark is considered a criminal offense and generally results in a fine of 3,500 Danish kroner, approximately $570 for first-time offenders, and can be increased for repeated offenders. The fine for failure to wear a face mask, violating gathering limits. That means they limit how many people can be around you, your little huddles, or loitering in areas deemed hotspots is 250 Danish kroner, approximately $400 for a first-time offense, and can increase thereafter for repeated violations. Refer to the list of fines in Danish for more detail. This stuff is crazy. Now, this is what we're going to say, and it's going to be crazy. And I'm going to show it. In Christianity, we were told that reincarnation was not of the Father, was of the devil, and everything. But do you understand? If you are waiting for a man who died to come back again? Isn't that not reincarnation? Let's see what it means being reincarnated. Isn't it crazy right there? The very same thing that they taught against is the very same thing that they teach. They're waiting on it. Reincarnation. Meaning, the rebirth of a soul in a new body. Now look how they go into it. Now the enemy always got to take what the Father does and mock it in some kind of way. A person, so the person can come back as a person. See, now that's to be the real person, the real thing. Watch this. Or an animal, in whom a particular soul is believed to have been reborn. Now, can we find this type of reincarnation with a person in the Bible? We ain't gonna never find it in an animal. We're gonna always find it in person. Now, the enemy will say, what? Or you got a person, that would be the Father. He has already established that. Then this will be the enemy or an animal. Man, you don't mess with that sheep over there, man. That made my Aunt Susan right there. My Aunt Susan, you know what I'm saying? Because she, you know what I'm saying, she did some other things in another life. The Father let her come back, but he let her come back as a lamb, you know, as a sheep.
Reincarnation.
That's how the enemy will teach you. But let's look at certain scriptures to back up our claim on what we just said. Before the terrible day the great and terrible day, right? What would happen? Now, before the great and terrible day, what did he say he's going to send back? For the great and terrible day, I will send the prophet Elias. All right, so it's in Malachi. All right. So in Malachi, the great day of Yah. See, it fell on the great day of Yah. Remember the law of Moses, my servant. Remember the law of my servant Moses. The statutes and ordinances I commanded him for all of Israel at Horeb. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yah. What's his job? He will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers. Otherwise, I will come and strike the land with a curse. Now let's hold that. The Messiah says what? Let's go to Matthew 11 and 14. Here it is right here. Let's do it. And they asked the Messiah, why do the scribes see all these things coming out? They keep saying, look at that Elijah. Elijah, 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 Elijah. And look at this. The person who said he's not Elijah don't even know he's Elijah. It's great. It's powerful. I love it. Why do the prophets say Elijah must come back? Malachi has already said something. Malachi has a promise in it. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yah. Matthew got something to say. As they were coming down the mountain, the Messiah commanded them, do not tell anyone about this vision until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. The disciples asked him, why then do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? The Messiah replied, Elijah does indeed come, and he will restore all things. Let's keep on going. And the Messiah is going to actually hit them with some things that they ain't ready to be hit with. So let's go King James 10. Let's do 11. Let's go on down. Watch this. The Messiah is going to say, going to blow their mind. Why then say the scribes that Elijah must come first? And the Messiah answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto what? Elijah whatsoever they listed, whatever they thought to do, right? Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples, watch who? Who they understand he was talking about? Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. He said John the Baptist was Elijah, the prophet Elijah. But now the prophet Elijah has a whole new name. The Messiah says, if you can receive it. So it's not that the truth is not out here. It's just that people don't receive the truth. And if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah, who was to come. They replied, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others say Jeremiah or one of the prophets. They asked him, they was asking about the Messiah, like, who do you say, do men say I am? And they said, you know what I'm saying, some say you are, John the Baptist. But the Messiah tells them that John the Baptist or that Elijah is to come. He must come. Why? Because the scripture says it. But then he goes on and says that if you can receive it, John the Baptist was Elijah. Wait a minute. Now we got to go look at Elijah and see if Elijah and John the Baptist did the same things each time. Let's go look at Elijah a little bit. Since we know that John the Baptist was Elijah, how did he come? Let's read some of the exploits that Elijah did. Elijah calls for fire from heaven. Let's see. Gotta see some stuff here. So if Elijah doing the same thing he did when he comes back, then Hazael sent to Elijah a captain with his company of 50 men. So the captain went to Elijah, who was sitting on top of a hill, and said to him, man of Yah, the king declares, come down. Elijah answered the captain, if I am a man of Yah, what did he say? May fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men, and fire come down from heaven and consume the captain and his 50 men. This happened 2 times. So the king sent to Elijah another captain with his 50 men. And the captain said to Elijah, man of Yah, the king declares, come down at once. And pretty much the same thing happened. So we see this same, consuming of fire taking place. So let's see something. Does John the Baptist rain fire from heaven? Let's go see that. John the Baptist calls for fire from heaven. See if it's the same. Yeah. Same person though. See what happened. See. You see anything? Okay. I don't see anything with John the Baptist. I see calls for fire from heaven to consume his enemies. I'm looking for that. It's like it's two different things going on here. Like John is acting in two different lights. Like it's two different sides to this to Elijah. When the disciples, James and John, saw that, they asked Yah, why do you want us to call down fire from heaven? Look, and to consume it. Look, they're asking. Anything about John the Baptist? Huh? No. Darn it. See, no. No fire being called down from heaven from John the Baptist. Can't even find it. Let me see. So it'll be Matthew 3. See, how many times is Yah sent fire from heaven? No, we don't see anything with John, you know what I'm saying, like calling fire down from heaven. But he did say that you will be baptized with fire, right? So it has a different aspect. It takes on the different aspects. You will be baptized with fire. You will be baptized with fire. There it is. All right, now we see the fire in a different manner. It's still consuming the person, but it's consuming it in a different way. The axe lies ready at the root of the trees, and every tree that does not produce fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. I baptize you with water for repentance, but after me will come one more powerful than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to carry. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand to clear his threshing floor and to gather his wheat into the barn, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. So we don't see any fire coming forth from Elijah as John the Baptist. We don't see that at all. We see a different aspect. So if Elijah is coming in John the Baptist, that is a recreation or a coming back of a person, right? Now look at this. So-called Jesus dies, right? That's what they call him. All right, so we're going to go read about him dying and see it in witness that he dies, right? We got to go see the witness of him dying. Crucifixion. Carrying his own stake, he went out to the place of the skull, which in Hebrew is called Golgotha. Golgotha is not the place. It's just saying that he went to the place of the skull. He went to the place of the skull. He went to the place of the skull. So no matter where he's at, he said that no prophet can die outside of Jerusalem. So he is going to Jerusalem to be assassinated. He cannot die outside of Jerusalem. Nevertheless, I must keep going today and tomorrow and the next day, for it's not admissible for a prophet to perish outside of Jerusalem. So they're taking him to the place of the skull, because the place of the skull is Jerusalem. So now that we see they're taken to the place of the skull, let's find this skull. So now we're about to put a hole inside of people's map, right? All right. So let's look at this one. So they say they took him to the place of the skull. So if he's here, which he's probably not, they say they took him to the place of the skull. So if he's here, where the place of the skull would be at? This right here would be cheekbone. This would be all cheekbone. The place of the skull would be somewhere in here, the back of the head. But if they took him to the apple of his eye, the face of the skull, which will be right in here. Either way it goes, the skull is right here. This is a whole head, a face, a skull. So let's see what a skull means. Now, I didn't say the back of the skull, it says the place of the skull. So now watch this. Skull. Notice it didn't put back of a skull, or back of the skull's head didn't show up. The framework, look. He is the foundation of man. The framework or bone or cartilage enclosing a brain of a vertebrae. The skeleton of a person or animal's head. He broke his collarbone and fractured his skull. Now, that would be the basis of where man comes from. Skull. So let's put on there face. Face of a skull. The most common symbolic use of the skull is as representation of death, mortality, and the unachievable nature of immortality, such as human skulls often has greater visual appear. See, they keep going to they don't tell anything about the face. See, they won't bring up the skull or the face. But a face can be also skull face. Look. A former Black Ops agent turned commander, skull face. Skull face. Meaning, see, they won't talk about the face of it, like something's being hidden. If you're the apple of his eye, then the father must see the death of his son. Why would he be looking at the back? But right here, if he's looking at his son dies, tears will begin to fall from the face. He has to see his son as a sacrifice before him. This had to be the same place where Isaac was taken from Abraham to be sacrificed. The father has to see it. And since it's an equator part of it, the son would have to go to a balanced place to be what? Sacrifice. So Jerusalem, which would be the father's place, his presence, where it dwells at, would have to be in the center, right in here for king. And since the back part of it is not a skull per se, but it's literally right here at the back of the cheekbone, because this will be representative of the head, but here, right here, is literally where the eye will be at, and from where the eye at, moving all the way to the back over here. So he would have to be over here in that area. And you can see it. Everything would have to take place from in here, from where this dotted line is, from over here to here. This is where they will have to take him to be sacrificed. Since the father says you're the apple of my eye, since the eye can see right here and can see down in here, these will be the only areas where the Messiah could be crucified. Only place. Because it just makes so much sense that way. Now, since we see that the Messiah, it says they crucified him. What does it mean to crucify? They killed him. So if they killed him, this man is dead, right? Execute, tear apart, condemn, attack, hang on a stake, nail to a stake. What does it say? Put to death, kill. And it said they crucified him, meaning they killed him. But he said that he laid his life down and no one took it away from him, but that he laid his life down. He had power to lay it down and power to take it back up again. And with them, two others, one on each side, with the Messiah in the middle. Again, he's in the middle, signifying where home is at, middle. And then we got mid with my name, music, Isaiah, David, mid, middle, center, tabernacle, two witnesses. And then the Messiah is in the middle, mid, everything tying in. All right, now watch. So he's been crucified. Now, does he rise from the dead? So we say Jesus resurrected. Bible verse. The Messiah comforts Martha and Mary. Martha replied, I know that he will rise again in resurrection at the last day. Messiah said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me will live even though he dies. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? So he's telling them that I am the life. Though you die, you can be resurrected or reincarnated by me. So when the centurion and those who were with him were guarding the Messiah saw the earthquake and all that happened, they were terrified and said, truly, this was the Son of Yah. So we can see that he's dead. He's completely dead. Now, the resurrection. Luke 24:6. As the women bowed their faces to the ground in terror, the two men asked him, why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee. The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and on the third day rise again. So wait a minute, hold up. So we see clearly now that the Messiah was sent to die. It says it right here. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women came to the tomb bringing the spices they had prepared. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb. But when they entered, they did not find the body of the Messiah. While they were puzzling over this, suddenly two men in radiant apparel stood beside them. As the women bowed their faces to the ground in terror, two men asked them, why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and on the third day, rise again. Then they remembered his words, and when they returned from the tomb, they reported all these things to the 11 and to all the others. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and the other women with them who told this to his disciples. But their words seemed like nonsense. They're the whole entire time, but they don't believe. And this is the core disciples. And they don't believe what the Messiah said to them. But they've been there the whole entire time. These are the ones who the Messiah chosen too. And they still didn't believe. So the whole entire time while they're there with them, they're all up in that hype. Yeah, we believe. But the moment when they seen this man die, all hope within them failed. They didn't really believe. To where these women, they was with him too. They didn't believe either. Because when they come in the tomb, they're shocked to find that he's not living. If they really believe, they would be like, oh, he's risen already. Yay! They would have started praising him. But they didn't. They was shocked, like, oh my goodness. Where is he? If they believed, it would have came to their mind, oh, that's right, Doy. He's risen. So just because you hear a thing doesn't mean you believe. You can even say it out your mouth, but it doesn't mean you believe. It doesn't mean it. Because they was with him majority of his ministry, and they still didn't believe. Why do you think that when the two witnesses go up, the elect is frightened? Because they don't believe. Now, the Messiah has risen from the dead. And yet and still he says what? We are what? Waiting for Jesus, what? Return. Wait a minute, hold up. The church is waiting for the Messiah's return. Look, while we wait for the Messiah's return, look at this. Wait a minute. So people are believing in reincarnation and don't even realize it while we wait for the Messiah's return. But then would tell you that the Messiah, that the reincarnation is not real, but their whole belief system is based on reincarnation without knowing it. Most people want to be prophets based off of the prophecy that was said to about Elijah. Man, we know, man, the last days that, prophets, the spirit of Elijah. Let's go look at that up right now. The spirit of Elijah in the Christian church. These have been greatest, sermons for the people like the spirit of Elijah. This generation and the spirit of Elijah. the spirit of Elijah. They will be like the spirit of Elijah generation. This spirit of Elijah generation will be this, the spirit of Elijah generation. Look, generation chosen, believers, the Elijah generation, God TV. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, Elijah, again, was literally supposed to come back again, which would be still reincarnation. But the church would say we don't believe in reincarnation. Then why are you believing that a dead man who raised up from the dead is coming back again? The Elijah prophetic mantle. But people will say they don't believe in reincarnation. When what they teach is in fact reincarnation. Because the Messiah himself taught reincarnation without saying reincarnation. The Father believes in reincarnation. That's how he sends back Elijah. He says that Elijah did return. And he didn't say the spirit of Elijah. He said Elijah did return. And it did to him what they desired to do to him. And so we're going to do the same thing to the Son of Man. So the church believes in reincarnation, but tells you that they don't believe in reincarnation. They're believing for the Son of Man, the Son of Yah, to return to bring forth salvation. When the Messiah, the whole entire time when he's speaking, is speaking of the King to come. And he tells you the condition of this King. Now, he didn't say prophets are without honor. He didn't say that. But he speaks about this one particular prophet. He didn't say prophets are not without honor. It says a prophet. A is symbolic of one. The Messiah said to him, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, or in his own home. A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his own household. So now, the one who will come in his name would mimic this, just like when the Messiah went and was doing, he couldn't do many miracles in this place. Why? Because of their unbelief. They knew that they had changed his diapers. They said, it's not Mary with us. It's not his brothers with us. It's not his sisters with us. So where in the world did you learn all these things if you're this mighty one? Now, the one who will come in the stead of the Messiah to do what he was doing, to continue in his work, he will share in that same thing. Now, this would tie in perfectly with, he says, I'm sending David to be the shepherd or the leader of my people. Now, when David left the earth, there was a curse still upon his house because of what he did with Bathsheba. Father says, because you did this thing, and it's that with Bathsheba, he said, contention or murder will not leave your house. So the branch of David would have the same thing, sort of like going on in his home. A prophet is not without honor, except in his own hometown and his own household. So that will be a mark upon the leader whom the Father has chose. You will see these things take place in life. All right, so if you're seeing a leader and their household seems to be all together, if the wife or whatever is giving honor to this man who is considered to be a prophet or a teacher, it's not him. Because the Messiah says that he's not only speaking to his generation, but he's speaking to the generation to follow afterwards. So he is going to be pointing out the one who comes in his name. Number one, he's not going to have, he's going to have honor outside of his home and outside of him, of where he comes from. But in the midst of his home or in his hometown, that same honor will not be there. The scripture goes on to talk about how this person will be despised and avoided. The Messiah is speaking the whole entire time. That's why it says that you will never see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in my name. So the leader clearly will have the name of the Father on him. TB Joshua was an enemy of the Father. And that enemy today has died. All praises to the Father. It is time to rejoice when the ones who are messing up the land dies. And said he was known as one of the greatest prophets. So I'm saying that the other prophets or other people in the world come to learn how to do that sorcery and crap from him. Now, which brings us to another thing that's going to be very powerful. All right, let's close out some of these. So now, since the nations are before you or before the Father as nothing, now we have to see something. The Messiah talks about lying signs and wonders, right? Lying signs and wonders. Do you notice most of the pastors and preachers and prophets that normally die, they normally die from Africa? So what's this? If you cannot tell that what the mark of the beast is, how you gonna tell? Watch this. Many shall come in my many shall come in my name and deceive many, right? Saying I am what? The one that the Father sent. He said, don't be deceived. And many false prophets will arise and mislead many. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform, watch this, and perform great signs and wonders that would deceive even the elect if it were possible. So, what is he talking about? Is he talking about in America or is he talking about in the land? Let's go hear about what they said about, Joshua, TB Joshua. Now watch this. Joshua means what? Salvation. So he will literally come in the name of the Messiah, which is salvation. So you have kings that's going to come or try to come in his name. You have prophets that are going to try to come in his name. TB Joshua, they say he was one of the greatest of all time when it came to prophets in Christendom. Joshua will be the name that represents what? Yah is salvation. It will mimic it perfectly. This right here.
How great is it that we get to tell everybody how Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need? I mean, uh-oh.
Nigeria's prophet T.B. Joshua passed away Saturday, only a few days from his 58th birthday, as per an official statement issued Sunday morning by the Synagogue Church of All Nations, founded by Temitokwe Balogun Joshua himself, or the man of God as his millions of followers referred to their beloved spiritual leader of miracles and resurrections, who was also one of the richest pastors in the world, with a Forbes estimated several million US dollar fortune. There was no indication that the Christian preacher, who had spoken just the day before at the Emmanuel TV Partners meeting, was ill, and no exact cause of death has been established. The prophet had his share of critics who dismissed him as a charlatan, fraudster, and recently a homophobe, as just in April, YouTube shut down the church's channel for homophobic hate speech. Nevertheless, there are many who believed in Prophet T.B. Joshua and view his passing as a huge loss to the Christian community.
Do you see that? Say that again. It says sudden death, man.
We are made to overcome. The book of Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. By saying about yourself what the Bible says about you. What the Bible says about you. No matter how unsteady your life appears to be, stay steady. Look at what the Bible says in that book of 1 Timothy. It said, Paul warned Timothy not to take a step back when he is sick, when he is attacked, when he is persecuted. He warned him not to take a step back. You see?
Okay, so let's go to the miracles of T.B. Joshua.
Walking steady, remain steady.
If you have an enlarged prostate, you must see this. The renowned urologist, Dr. Philip Ulrich, has uncovered a new
in Lagos, where the sad news of the death of televangelist and founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations was announced in the early hours of today. Service did not hold in his church as a result of the sad news. Senior correspondent Ivy Kanu was at his church. Now she brought reactions by worshippers who are grappling painfully with the reality of his demise.
This morning, when I woke up this morning, I have to go through their Facebook page, his Facebook page, and I discovered that a statement had been made concerning his death, confirming his death. So I was absolutely shocked, you know. Personally, I shed tears because of the work he has done, his humanitarian works, and the lives he has touched all over the world.
It's unbelievable. If this man of God will please wake up, he has not finished his assignment. All of us, we are in a morning mood. Nobody is happy.
It's an exemplary, a practical Jesus Christ in the physical human being in my generation.
It's more than 50 years I'm in Queen Synagogue Church. He just delivered me just last month in my leg. TB Joshua is a great man. He's a kind man, nobody like TB Joshua.
Well, our purpose of 10 years is not for anything. We have no business. We have no any construction or any other business. It's because of the church in question. And man of God has a way of doing things. He makes sure that there is food go to our mouth.
It's a big loss to the whole world, most especially Nigeria, because we know amount of revenue that he creates for Nigeria.
All along from Seme, when I heard this morning, just to find out maybe it's real or not. On getting here, I found out that the man is.
She said, wait a minute, do you see the last part of this? Wait a minute, hold up.
Or not. On getting here, I found out that the man heard this morning, just to
amount of revenue that he creates for Nigeria.
All along from Seme, when I heard this morning, just to find out maybe it's real or not. On getting here, I found out that.
Do y'all see that? That was the last statement for him. The Father put that there purpose. Did you hear what she said? She said she traveled to find out if this man was real or not. And the day she gets there, she finds out that he's dead. Woo! Man, if that's not some of the most powerful words ever said, that right there in and of itself is powerful. She left her house to go find out if he's real. But before she was able to get there, the Father delivered an answer. So when she gets there on arrival, she says, I came to try and find out if the man was real. Real in what? Real in laying hands on the sick and healing the people. If he's real. She wasn't saying like, is he a real person like you can touch? She was saying if the gifting inside of him was real. And the day she gets there, she finds out that he's dead. The Father gave her the answer. He said he's not real. Because think about it. You didn't deliver people from death or healed all these people, but then you yourself died of a sickness. Think about it. You heal people. How can you give something that you don't have? If you yourself die of a sickness, then how do you have power to give healing to people's bodies from sickness if you yourself are sick? That's not balanced in any shape or fashion. Peter was not sick. And he says, such as I have, I give. He says, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, I give. I have the name of the Messiah. And since I have the name of the Messiah, I can heal you in his name. And people got healed. And there was no sickness inside of Peter. TB Joshua, as they say he died from a sickness. So how can a man who is sick bring forth healing in any respects? You can only produce what you have. So then his things will be lying signs and wonders. TB Joshua heals or casts out spirits, right? Look at this.
Tonight we're making some bacon wrapped green beans. Putting this tenderloin on.
I'm gonna roast these carrots. There's a news trending on social media right now that Prophet TB Joshua of SCON Synagogue Church of All Nations is dead. That's the news that is trending right now everywhere, on Facebook, Twitter, every social media platform. TB Joshua, also known as Temitope Balogun Joshua, was born June 12, 1963, which makes him 57 years old. But based on my little research, the first time I'm seeing this news of his death was from Gazette, GazetteNGR.com. So according to the story, it says Prophet TB Joshua is dead at 57. Mr. Joshua reigned for several decades as a fiery preacher on television, using his platform to attract a large number of Christians from across the globe. Temitope Balogun Joshua is a frontline Nigerian preacher and televangelist, has died. Family sources told People Gazette, Mr. Joshua, the founder of the synagogue, Church of All Nations, SCON, died Lagos Saturday, even shortly after concluding. Let me read that again. Mr. Joshua, the founder of Synagogue Church of All Nations, died in Lagos on Saturday evening, shortly after concluding a program at his church. The Gazette learned from the family source, who did not want to be quoted as an official statement. Pay attention. I don't know. This state is now up to 60 seconds, but this video is more of a, let's break this thing down and find out how truthful it is. So I'm going to take my time to read this stuff, and I want you to pay attention, okay? So this is from Gazette. If you type it on Google, that TB Joshua is dead, Gazette is probably going to be the first one to pop up, followed by other websites that are copying the news, pasting the news. But Gazette news came out 3 hours ago, while other news are coming out like 2 hours and 1 hour, 10 minutes, and latest few seconds ago. Let's read the news from People Gazette and GR. Temitope Balogun Joshua is a frontline Nigerian preacher and a televangelist. Has died, family sources told People Gazette. They say family sources. They didn't specify. And we don't know if it's direct family or, church family. Family plenty. Mr. Joshua, the founder of Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCON, died in Lagos on Saturday evening. Today is Sunday. Saturday evening is just like a few hours ago, because right here in Nigeria it's 3:34 a.m.
Hey there, homeowner. If you have a power meter like this on the side of your house, you can now erase your energy bill at no cost to you. With a new state-sponsored solar energy program, you can get solar panels for $0. It's totally free, costs nothing out of pocket, and you can start saving.
So basically, the same is, Mr. Joshua, the founder of Synagogue Church of a Nation, died in Lagos on Saturday evening, shortly after concluding a program at his church. The Gazette learned from family sources, who did not want to be quoted as an official statement, was still being prepared. He was 57. The cause of death was not immediately disclosed to the Gazette. I wonder if somebody's going to give you information about that. Why won't they tell you what killed the person? Okay. But family sources said his remains has been deposited at the morgue and an autopsy will be performed forthwith. Mr. Joshua reigned for several decades as a fiery preacher on television, using platform to attract a large number of Christians from across the world. Emmanuel TV, run by Mr. Joshua SCON, is one of the Nigeria's largest Christian broadcast stations, available worldwide via digital and territorial switches. In 2014, his church and was at the center of a multinational investigation following a section of his church headquarters in Lagos collapse, leaving dozens killed and many more injured. Mr. Joshua denied allegations of negligence, and a trial over the incident was still underway prior to his dismissal. We have lost our dear father, You know, today is the saddest day in the history of Scotland. You know, we lost a big champion, a big lion. You know what I'm saying? Oh, God took him. Can he be dead? Anybody can die now. Death is part of life. Death is inevitable. Every one of us that we are listening to this video and the one that is recording the video, yeah, we're gonna die one day. Everybody will die one day. You know what I'm saying? Some people will die in 60 seconds after bat, or 6 seconds, or 6 milliseconds, and some people will die at 60. Why some will die at 160? We over here already crying. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what is that? Why? You know, even though I'm not a church member of the man, it's funny and he's a good pastor. And I like the fact that he reach out to the poor people. He don't play with poor people. He's always reaching out to them. Even if he's not building the best of the best, we give them, you know, bag of Guardian, you know, bag of rice and stuff like that. You know, so we can't do wrong with food. And I don't know what project is building. Let me not say that, because I just know he's a very generous person. You know what I'm saying? You got what I'm saying. So if he's dead, a whole lot of people are gonna be emotionally broken. That is a big shot. That man is a big shot globally. Do you know how many followers he's got? This is a man that is a Nigerian patriot. He never went anywhere. He chose to use Nigerian as the foundation of his church. You have to come meet him in this church. That's a big deal. Whoever that reported the fake news, if it's a fake news, that is an expensive joke. It's not a joke. The person just wants a trend. And I'm seeing it on all major platforms. You know, it's crazy how rumors spread, man. And some of them are even doing copyright infringement. They're not even saying according to Gazette. Because Gazette NGR reported the news. Scan News said a family source told us. Scan News, that's a damn lie. You copied it from Gazette NGR. And you know, I went and said the family source told us.
If you can't find anywhere that can brew your organic beer, you grow your own organic brewery, naturally. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, organic by nature.
What killed him? The hair. The hair in the sky. You know, he was sleeping and like, they blew a hair on his face, like, and he just died like that. Listen, if you want me to confirm to you that Timmy Joshua is dead, I'm not his family member. I don't know him from nowhere. As a matter of fact, I ain't never even seen him before. Until you get maybe his dad or his grandmother or his wife or somebody that is his uncle or, you know what I'm saying, he's one of those church pastors. What do they call them church pastors? Do they call them Messiah? There's what do they call all those pastors that were the disciples that go around to Joshua until the disciples come out and he just wake back up, or was he talking to somebody and they strangled him to death? There's a whole lot of speculative, you know, concept around this whole incident. Okay, so that didn't happen. So let's assume that he died from any of these causes. So how can somebody contact Gazette from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight? Is Gazette just like AIT or Punch, where you just call and be like, hey, Gazette, TB Joshua is dead. Report the news. Come on, let's use our mind. Okay, today is Sunday. It's around 3:46 a.m. Gazette reported the news by 12. 6 hours to 12. TB Joshua was still performing miracle service. Okay? And he died within that 6 hours. They already rushed him to the morgue. That quick. That quick? That sounds like a fishy story. I don't think they'll rush him to the morgue that quick. Not morgue. You know what I'm saying? TB Joshua is a Yoruba man. Not only that, TB Joshua as a Christian, they're not just going to take him to the morgue straight up. It ain't going to happen. They're going to lay him over there. Pastors will be coming around to pray. They'll pray till they wake him up. They might even pray for 2 days. Because this is a miracle church. This is not just a regular Pentecost.
Bell's Outlet, the place to find great gifts for dad at up to 70% off other stores' prices.
Church. They're going to think maybe it's one of the demons that is, delivering that attacked him. They're going to think maybe one of his church members tried to juju him or something. You know what I'm saying? They're not just going to carry him all the way out of the church like that. Hell no. He's a miracle pastor. Do you know what they call a miracle pastor, man? There are people doing prayer warriors. I'm talking to you like, God, you can't take him. It ain't gonna happen. His birthday's next week. God, you can't take him. 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 Send him back. Send him back. Send him back. You can hear the prayer, right? Exactly. And even if he was to die, I did not do, miracle prayer, maybe like some of the church member that was around that time, they got low faith. You're not going to call the family member and family member will come there and pick their body. It's not just going to be like right there, 3 hours, 4 hours. They don't carry TB Joshua enter a morgue. Did they already prepare the morgue for him? Unless he was shot or maybe somebody strangled him. What is the effect of somebody actually strangling TB Joshua? Is it possible? Yeah, a whole lot of pastors, they have threats, from members and from external forces. So from 5 p.m. that it was posted online, it was already in morgue in less than 6 hours. And Gazette followed them to the morgue to discover that it was in morgue. Or this person followed them to the morgue. And within these 3 hours of them going to the morgue and leaving his body in the morgue for them to perform autopsy, this person followed them and was running around with them and was able to call Gazette and say, Gazette, yo, man, we're in the morgue, man. TB Joshua is over here. He laying on the floor. He dead. Man, you need to report this motherfucking news, man. I'm just a family member. I don't want to be noticed. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let you know. Dude is dead, man. It doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. You guys can tell me what you think. It doesn't sound right. Look at the time. Go look on this page. It was posted by 5 p.m.
Arizona homeowners are in for a pleasant surprise this year. In response to recent events, the federal government has extended the energy.
Hello guys, good evening everyone, and welcome to this YouTube channel. If today is our first time,
all right, now we're about to do the prophet test. Yep, we have to. Now remember, we just got through saying earlier that it says that a prophet cannot die outside of what? So the prophet, if he's a prophet, he will have to die. His death would tell us where Jerusalem is or isn't. So remember, it says a prophet cannot die. It is not permissible for a prophet to die outside of Jerusalem. And remember, Jerusalem has to be in that center, equatorial part of the land, or this person was not real. So let's see where Joshua died. And then he had, guess what? Emmanuel TV. He was trying too hard, wasn't he? Just Emmanuel TV. Not only did he, change his name to TV Joshua. Let's see. TV Joshua's real name. All right. Timmy Tope Balongo Joshua. So Tito was a Nigerian charismatic. Okay, so in Nigeria, let's see if Nigeria is on that line, that curve. So where did he die? So his death is trending. TB Joshua died where? Unknown causes. All right. Did he die in a hospital? I just need to know where he died at. That's all. Okay, so he's dead. All right, but where did he pass away? Anybody has this? This is CNN is reporting this. But where did he die? Hospital, synagogue, Church of All Nations. Prophet T.B. Joshua, the founder of, my bad, T.B. Joshua, the founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, scone, scone, Synagogue Church of All Nations. So scone is the same thing, almost like scorn. All right, so let's see. We need to change that from an A to R. And you have scorn. Contempt, derision, holding contempt, deride, disdain. Sneering, scoffing. He's a scoffer. Mockery. Opposite of it, admiration, respect, despite. So he was an object of scorn, mockery, laughed at a court, spit on, dismiss. So his whole entire industry literally is the same thing as scone. When you say scone, it's like the same thing as saying scorn. Scone. Scone. Like going up out of here. That's crazy. Then like on Saturday, September 5th, June 2021, TB Joshua spoke during the Emmanuel TV Partners meeting, Time for Everything. Time to come here for prayer and time to return home after the service. TB Joshua Ministries wrote in a Facebook post, Yah has taken his servant prophet TB Joshua, or taking his servant Joshua home as it should be by divine will. His last moments on earth were spent in the service of Yah. This is what he was born for, lived for, and died for. Joshua's cause of death was not stated. Since his rise to preeminence in the late 1990s, the popular preacher was renowned for his philanthropy, prosperity teachings, and purported healings and miracles. So he was in Nigeria, okay? So I'm sure if he lived in Nigeria, he went to a hospital, probably somewhere in Nigeria. So let's go see if Nigeria is in the place where the Messiah would be. Let's go look. Let's go see. Let's go look, see. All right. Let's see where Nigeria is at. Let's get the one with on here. You see where Nigeria is? Over here. You see where the line is? Right in here. So that would be outside of Jerusalem. Look. Right here. These are areas that's lit up. Nigeria would be over in here. So in these areas right here, Jerusalem has to be right there in that line. Nigeria is not Jerusalem. He died outside of Jerusalem. So the word says it's not permissible that a prophet die outside of Jerusalem. You are the apple of my eye. Apple of my eye. Now watch this. You are the salt of the earth. So since you are the salt of the earth, the Dead Sea will also have to be right there at the beginning. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be salty again? Now, the kingdom of Yah will also be where salt is at. So the Dead Sea, it will be dead because of what? Symbolic of your kingdom also being taken from you. It's going to mimic it. So the Dead Sea will be in Africa. The true Dead Sea which will be what? Salt. Salt. Will be in Africa. But they ain't gonna tell you that. There's no way that this water right here is gonna be salt, but then not Lake Victoria and all the other waters be salt. There's no way. There's no way. Africa will have sea salt. The Dead Sea pool, or the dead waters, he says, I'm gonna return it. So when we return, the Father's gonna again to start to restore everything as it was. That's why it's called Dead Sea. Because the Father's gonna bring it back to life again. Since the nations are before him as nothing, he's gonna be speaking to our people and speaking about our land. And he's gonna be talking about, many shall come in my name, what? Also in the land. That's why more pastors and preachers and so-called prophets die in the land. He dies in Nigeria, which is in the land. Why? Because the Father says, all right, you got to go. Because Father is making room for the real. He's making room for the real. The word says you are the apple of my eye. Keep me as the apple of my eye. So if this is done by David, that means literally the temple is going to be what? By the apple of the eye. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. For thus saith Yah, after the glory, he have sent me unto the nations which spoil you, for he have touched you. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. The mid section of the face or the skull. Right in here. The eye. You are the so Joshua had to die somewhere over here. He didn't die in Kenya. He died in Nigeria. Or no, in Nigeria or Niger. He died in Nigeria. Therefore, Nigeria cannot be Jerusalem because it's not permitted that a prophet dies outside of Jerusalem. A prophet cannot die outside Jerusalem. Look, for they that dwell at Jerusalem and their rulers, because they knew him not, nor yet the voices of the prophets. So they know the word, they didn't know the Father, which are read every Sabbath day, they have fulfilled them in condemning him. So they condemn him in home. So Jerusalem was overrun by the stranger, and they condemn him in Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those sent to her. How often I have longed to gather your children together as a hen gather her chicks under her wings, but you were unwilling. Under her wings, under her wings. Keep me as the apple of your eye, hide me under the shadow of thy wings. Jerusalem. How I long to gather your children together as a hen gather her chicks under her wings, but you are unwilling. Keep me as the apple of thy eye, hide me under the shadow of thy wings against your hidden ones. You have hide these things from those who are wide and prudent. With cunning. See how your enemies rage, how your foes have reared their heads. With cunning, they scheme against your people and conspire against those you cherish. Scripture says what? Against your treasured ones, precious ones, hidden ones. How I've longed to gather you and hide you under my wings. Hide me under your wings, under the shadow of your wings. Hidden ones. You have hidden these things. From the wise and prudent. Jerusalem. The true location, hidden from the wise and prudent, and revealed. I don't know nothing. So TB Joshua cannot be a prophet because he does not fit the narrative of the scriptures that says that a prophet must, no exception. It says it is not permissible.
Tonight we're making some bacon wrapped.
It is not permissible that a prophet die outside of Jerusalem. It is permissible. It's unheard of for a prophet to die outside of Jerusalem. Outside Jerusalem, we're not prophets. The Messiah says, I must keep going, for it's not permissible. It's not allowed. Ever. that a prophet die outside of Jerusalem. Look, it doesn't matter what it is. I can't die here. I can be taken here, but I can't die here. I cannot die here. In any case, I must press on today and tomorrow and the next day, for surely no prophet can die outside Jerusalem. Yes, today, tomorrow, and the next day I must proceed on my way, for it wouldn't do for a prophet to be killed except in Jerusalem. Let me close this out. We're trying to do something. So Messiah says, in any case, I must press on today and tomorrow and the next day, for surely no prophet can die outside Jerusalem. Yes, today, tomorrow, and the next day, I must proceed on my way, for it wouldn't do for a prophet to be killed, a prophet of Yah to be killed, except in Jerusalem. Nevertheless, I must go on my way today and tomorrow and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet should perish away from Jerusalem. Nevertheless, I must keep going today and tomorrow and the next day, for it's not admissible for a prophet to perish outside of Jerusalem. So the prophet must die inside Jerusalem. There is no excuses for this. You must die inside Jerusalem. You cannot die outside of Jerusalem. Let us must keep going today, for it's not admissible for a prophet to perish outside, for it's not possible for a prophet to, it's not possible. So it's like it says, like, if possible, the elect could be deceived. So it's the same thing saying this is not possible. There's no way, shape, form, or fashion that the Father's going to allow a true prophet to die outside of Jerusalem, signifying this, that there have been no prophets to come up at all. Why? Because your kingdom is desolate. He said, your home is left unto you desolate. Therefore, no one can be a prophet if they die outside of Jerusalem. All prophets who are true prophets must die in Jerusalem. So anyone who died in America, they're not prophets. For Yisrael must live many days without a king or prince, without sacrifice or sacred pillar, and without ephod or idol. This will also include what prophets? Your kingdom is without you. Therefore, Isaiah has spoken to you what? They have ears, they have eyes, but they can't see. They have ears, but they can't hear, signifying what? Your seers are gone. Seers can't hear, you can't see. A seer has both. Seers, meaning one who can hear and see things from Father. Prophet is supposed to be able to, through the supernatural insight, to see what the future holds. A seer had foretold that the earl would assume the throne. Seer. Seer. See, and since they say they only can pretty much hear, not see, but hear. but a seer can see and hear. That's what they try to say. But nonetheless, a seer or a prophet cannot die outside of Jerusalem. It is not permitted. For it cannot be that a prophet would perish outside of Jerusalem. So Nigeria is not Jerusalem. Prophet TB Joshua, by his death, it has exposed him as being a fraud, not the truth. Because he died outside
There's a news trending on social
Jerusalem.
media right now.
See, people are going to believe this Bible or it's going to kill them, literally.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
My correct people, how na day? I hope na day fine. Now this one a short video from me because now the new latest what we dey hear this morning as we wake up. They say TB Joshua died yesterday. Be like na yesterday night he die. I believe say he birthday na on the 12th. So in kind of on Saturday next week or this new week where we they want enter. So in the die yesterday will be on the 5th of the same birthday month. It's unbelievable. Like it's unbelievable. The cause of death, we never really get full details of cause of death because hey, the man a very young man. No, the video when he be like say he make of recent and I seen a birthday where they come. That is a 58 years birthday where they come. Una go say and say he still dey chubby, you know. Una know TB Joshua and a very young person, even though self say he age don dey go. Tonto DK drop this message because she herself said she not believe her. Me self, like the whole thing just come as a shock this morning when they wake up to the news. So Tonto DK drop say I'm going to wake up tomorrow and hear that my father lives. Like TB Joshua still dey alive. She can't put say right, like na question I she dey answer because she never believe what she dey hear. So she can't put say, Papa, where are you? I called this morning. That is, she called TB Joshua this morning, but he no pick up. So I don't know what una think about this TB Joshua death news when he be like say he just come this morning. Maybe most of una go say we bloggers they don't start again. So I go advise make una still go do una own search but una self with una self. Because this not be news when it be like say anybody they proud of, you know. Not be news when it be like say anybody like, but now waiting still they happen. So I will bring una update on this matter if I hear anything when it be like say it's up or anything will happen to will just lead to he dead. Because when he do the video, when he do, he look okay, like he's not sick, nothing. So I don't know whether something happen. I will give you an update if I hear anything, and I will see you now for my next video. Una bye bye.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. They watch all over the world. June 12th is around the corner. As you know, I'm a man of people. So, the wound of one is the wound of all. As things stand, you may have realized it will not be easy for me to celebrate my birthday under the present circumstances. Some of the people who want to come are troubled by the situation all over the world. We see their fear and their worry. I feel their pain. I feel this day to prayer and fasting. Don't forget the needy. By the grace of God, more birthdays are ahead. God bless you, Emmanuel. Jesus is Lord. Happy birthday.
Now, that video would seem a little bit strange, right? Like he knew something. Like, and that's what the person was telling me about his death. Like when he had did a video like 2 days ago or something like that, that his video was strange. Like he knew like he wasn't going to be here. Like he knew he was going to die. He said many people are worried about him. Like they know that he's not going to make it. He says, y'all willing that I may get to see many other birthdays. But he was pretty much telling them that it's not promised. He started off saying many people are worried about him, his health. So we can conclude that he died from some type of illness. Now, whether he took the COVID-19 vaccination would be crazy, wouldn't it? Or COVID-19 took him out. It's from a disease. Doesn't make sense. And then he dies outside of Jerusalem on top of that. Now, which brings us to the next point in closing. Many will say to me, Lord, Lord. What's the response? He's talking about a specific day. What day is this? We're going to find out what day this is. And it's going to shock people. Come on. But I'm going on my way today, tomorrow, and the next day. After all, Jerusalem is the place where prophets are killed. Woo! So, all right, let me know what place the two witnesses are going to die at. They die in Jerusalem. All right, now watch this. Okay, many will say to me on that day, Master, Master, did we not prophesy in your name and in your name drive out demons and perform many miracles? Now, he is talking about people in the land. Most people have seen miracles, demons cast out off of TB Joshua's live or TB Joshua's television so many times. What time is this? He says, and on that day. What day is this? Judgment Day. This is the second resurrection. Many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name cast out devils, and in your name done many wonderful works. When is this happening? The second resurrection. So first, you said you want to be in the first one. Because all right. Here it is. Saying bound. The rest of the dead did not come back to life until the 1,000 years were complete. So it's gonna be people who look. So the people who are listening to this, I'm telling y'all, watch this. So those who die now, they ain't coming back. So if you're dying from here on up, so when the end statement of the two witnesses, they're around for 1,000 years because they die after 1,000 years is up. That says the ones who die now, they don't wake up until the second death. I mean, the second resurrection went up. The first one is where our loved ones get up from. The loved ones from the past. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You get the point. If your people are dying now, and salvation is already here, that literally means they didn't make it. Swallow the pill, whatever it is, but they didn't make it. We got scriptures to back it up. Let's go. So TB Joshua has not made it. He is on his way to hell when he wakes up. Revelation 20:6. The rest of the dead did not come back. Let's go read that. Revelation 20. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven with the key to the abyss, holding in his hand a great chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. Now watch what happens. And he threw him into the abyss, shut it, and sealed it over him, so that he could not deceive the nations until the 1,000 years, were complete. After that, he must be released for a brief period of time. Then I saw the thrones and those seated on them who have been given authority to judge. Look at it then I saw the thrones. What's happening? An establishment of a new kingdom. And those seated on them have been given authority to do what? To judge. This is the millennial reign. Why in the world does it not talking about the only begotten Son of Yah reigning at this time? It talks about judges that have been given authority to reign. Some don't seem right what we've been taught in Christianity. Let's go. And I saw the souls of those who have been beheaded for their testimony of the word and for the word of Yah, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and had not received his mark on their foreheads or hands. And watch this. And they came to life and reigned with the Messiah for 1,000 years. Notice the word Christ means the anointed one. The anointed one could be Saul. The anointed one could be Samuel. The anointed one could be Moses. The anointed one could be Noah. It doesn't say a specific name, but it said the Messiah. In this case, it would be the king. But notice, all up until this time, while the mark of the beast and all this stuff is being administered, there is no sentence that says, blessed is he who comes in the name. So therefore, the Messiah would be a lie if he comes back now and we haven't said it. And we won't have to be forced to say it. It's just going to come out automatically, because that will be a worship. It will be a blessing. It will be a praise. Is that some of the, well, blessed is he who come in the name of Yah? Why? Because we're suffering right now. No, that's going to be a praise like, blessed is he who comes in the name of. You understand? That's not now. So let's continue on. So we see the mark of the beast. We seen reincarnation that took place. So they came to life. So who will be included in those coming to life? Those who are alive will not prevent those who are dead. I mean, those who are alive will not prevent. What's this? Those who are dead. The return what? Of the Messiah. Or the Messiah that's been chosen, right? Their leader. It's a lot in it. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. Just follow along. Just follow. I know it's dope. Just follow along. Follow along. I know people like, what in the world? It's a lot. People be telling me it's a lot to digest, right? So we're gonna continue to digest, and then I'm gonna stop because y'all need to digest what's been said. Y'all gonna need to digest this. So I'm not gonna hit you with nothing else. I'm gonna have to let y'all go because y'all gonna need to digest this. Because just because you hear it don't mean you get it. Not necessarily. I know because I've had to repeat things over to people, and I was like, "Where was you at when we was talking about this?" Like they were like, "Well, I was there, but I just didn't get it." Okay, but it's hope. That's why I have to keep saying the same thing sometimes over. Why? Because faith comes by hearing the word of Yah. Right? So, and you can see that with Isaiah. By hearing, they don't hear. So it's gonna be hearing, you do hear. Seeing, you do see. Right? All right. Return of Yah. The return of what? The Messiah. Right? For since we believe that the Messiah died and rose again, we also believe that Yah will bring with the Messiah those who have fallen asleep in him. By the word of Yah, we declare to you that we who are alive and remain until the coming of Yah will by no means what? Go before those who have fallen. For Yah himself will descend from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of an archangel, with the trumpet of Yah, and the dead in the Messiah will be the first to rise. Now watch this. Did not come back to life, watch this, until the 1,000 years were complete. So during the 1,000 years reign, the dead in the word are brought back to life. On the earth. Now, what I want to find out in all totality, if it's 1,444,000 people that are only going to be in the land, if the dead is included in that number, how many people in each generation are the sheep of the Father? So that means in every single generation, in Abraham's generation, there's a certain group of people that's the sheep, certain groups that are goats, or that are the sacred cow, if you will, the golden cow. They worship Baal. Then in another generation, there will be those who will be the Father's chosen elect. So he said up to 1,000 generations. I will show my wrath to third and fourth generation, but show my loving kindness to those who love me up to 1,000 generations. So that means in all these many generations, Father will be setting aside his sheep and setting aside those cows, separating them all the way up to the last moment. And then when the allegiance of the king shows up, which is Shiloh, they're allowed to raise up again in the millennial reign. That's powerful. Now, the beast that comes up out of the pit, he kills the Messiah again. Is that true? Because the scripture says that the beast that descends out of the pit, he kills the two witnesses right after his sentence is over. And if the way that people are reading Paul, they're saying that the Messiah at that time is already on the earth. So that means the Messiah lives. He dies a couple of times. So he dies, comes back, then he comes back, then he gets killed again by Satan. And then after that, Satan reigns for a short period of time again, and then the Messiah comes back again and destroys the enemy with the brightness of his coming. That's exactly how people believe it, just like that. But they are forgetting one part. If the Messiah is the reign right now, then it's the enemy who kills him again. Anybody got anything for that? Anybody at all? Anybody got anything for that? Let's look at the scriptures. See what happens. And they came to life and reigned with what? The Messiah for 1,000 years. Watch this. The rest of the dead did not come back to life until the 1,000 years were complete. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy. So set apart of those. What? He said he set apart his lamb, right? He says, those on my right side. Blessed are you, right? Then the king, the sheep, and it goes, right? He will place the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Those will be the ones who rise in the second resurrection. So after 1,000 years, he will place the sheep on his right. That would be during 1,000 years. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So he himself is now letting these people into the kingdom. That we see the kingdom is here in the first resurrection. They did not worship the beast nor his image. So therefore, they was allowed to come into the kingdom on the first resurrection, right? Blessed and holy are those who share in the first resurrection. These are what you call the sheep or the lamb on his right. Now watch this. The second death has no power over them. They be priests of Yah and of the word, and will reign with him for 1,000 years. When the 1,000 years are complete, from his the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to assemble them for battle. Their number is like the sand of the seashore. But wait a minute, hold up. When Satan is released in Revelations 11, somebody is The two witnesses are raised, right? When they shall have finished their testimony, the beast, which be the devil, that descended out of the bottomless pit, which we just got through reading, shall make war against them. Remember, he goes and does what? And deceives the nations. He's get released to go deceive the nations. So he'll be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to assemble them for battle. And their battle will come back to what? These two witnesses to fight against them, right? The beast that sinneth at the bottomless pit shall make war against them. That's Gog and Magog, and shall overcome them with Gog and Magog, and shall kill them in Gog and Magog, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which will be Jerusalem, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also the Messiah was crucified, who said he cannot die outside of Jerusalem. So these two prophets, who are true prophets, because the word calls them prophets, dies also in Jerusalem. And they are the people and kindreds of tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell on the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. This sounds like Christmas. It's a time when people give gifts to one another. Or it could be, what would be, according to our Hebrew or our Bantu celebration, also give gifts. This would be what, not Purim, but what is that thing where they give gifts, like 12 gifts or something like that, and every day you get a gift. It's supposed to be a feast that we have. The Maccabean War, at that time. But even right here, we could see that either a holiday or a feast is being celebrated on the day that they're celebrating that these two prophets. It says prophets. Now remember, these two prophets, and a prophet cannot what? Perish outside of Jerusalem. So since these prophets are going to be assassinated or killed, that means they die in Jerusalem, period. There's no exception. Now, so the Messiah would have to be killed then at that time then. So this right here by itself shows that the only begotten Son of Yah is not the one that's going to be coming and reigning through the 1,000 years. This will have to be someone else. Because we see during this time, the Messiah, the two witnesses are killed. The two prophets are killed. So to assemble them for battle, their number is like the sand of the seashore. And they marched across the broad expanse of the earth and surrounded the camp of the saints in the beloved city. But fire came down from heaven and consumed them. And the devil who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, into the beast, and the false prophet had already been thrown. Look, and the devil who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, into which the beast and the false prophet had already been thrown. There they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Understand? So now, on the judgment, this is the second death. Then I saw a great white throne, and the one seated on it, earth and heaven fled from his presence, and no place was found for them. This will be the one set on his left side. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne. And now watch this, they're about to be judged, because you have already been judged, and you've been allowed to stay in the kingdom of the Father. Remember, you have been blessed. So your judgment has already been passed, and you've been found as good. Now, this is the second resurrection. This is where the second resurrection is going to come in to judge those who are going to the eternal lake of fire, right? And it says what? And there were open books, and one of them is the book of life, and the dead were judged according to their deeds. This was the first one in what? Probably the declaration, pretty much of the first resurrection. And watch this, according to their deeds, as recorded in the books, the sea gave up its dead, and death and Hades gave up their dead, and each one was judged according to his deeds. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death. See? And it says that those who will get up in the first resurrection will not be judged by the second resurrection or the second death. They said it will have no power over you, meaning what? You're not being judged. You've already been judged. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And if anyone was found whose name was not written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. Then he will say what? To those on his left. Right? Now, then it would say to those on his left. Now you see it? Depart from me, what? You workers of iniquity. So when he says, it's like people will say to him that, hey, do you stand perfectly with this judgment? In that day, many will say to me, in that day, what day is that? Judgment day. In that day, on that day, to me, haven't I not done this in your name? They're saying this on judgment day, the second death. And he's going to tell them what? Plainly, I do not know you. He is telling you how judgment is going to play out for those who don't know him. Look what he says. Many will say to me on that day, Master, Master, what day is this? The second judgment, the second resurrection. Did we not prophesy in your name and in your name drive out demons and perform many miracles? He is saying this to the cows on the side of him. Those who worship the golden cow, the golden calf. Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. Let's look at the scripture where it goes into. He would say to the ones on his left, where's it at? Then he would say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, you did not take me in. I was naked and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, you did not visit me. And they too will reply, Master, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not minister to you? Then the king will answer, truly I tell you, whatever you did not do, one for the least of these, you did not do it for me. Then they will go into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. It's sad, but you can clearly see the ones who are not going to die fighting against the beast are the same ones who are going to go into eternal damnation. TB Joshua is one of those who are going into eternal damnation. He did not make it. And his death shows it all. This is not a time to be playing with the Father at all. Know him or don't know him. But the choice is yours. Just because you make tons of money telling people that you know him, don't mean that you know him. And the fact that he died the way he died showed the world, the Father was trying to show the world, like, hey, I don't know him. How the Father caused him to die from disease when he himself was a healer. And the Father was also showing another sign that he was no prophet. So we do not honor him as Prophet Joshua. We honor him as TB Joshua. And the Father said he was his enemy. So one of the enemies of the Father has died today. Remember, truth is not biased, it's absolute. Reincarnation is all through this book. If you were waiting for the Messiah to show up, you believe in reincarnation indirectly. So therefore, the Father will also bring back King David indirectly. Just like Elijah was given a whole new name, John the Baptist, so David will be given a whole new name. But the core of his name will still be there. It will be hidden in plain sight. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully everything it made sense to everybody. Yeah. Sammy fam. Have a good night.
Yeah, so we are here at Truth Colors today, and today I blew my brother Yasha's mind, by telling him something that he didn't even know about, You see, the Father works in amazing ways. Yasha has had, see the background that I have right here? It has many colors. It's the Truth Colors background. So Yasha has had it since he started his YouTube channel. So me in the process of doing reading my stuff and all that, I've read about the coat of many colors. The father, all the patriarchs in the Bible used to have that coat. It goes down from Adam all the way till Joseph, and during the period of Joseph is when the coat kind of disappeared, but it was the coat of many colors. The same thing is what my brother Yasha here has, Truth Colors. So you guys need to know that where all the colors for the truth are is where the Father dwells. So this guy has the truth and it's a bomb. If you guys are still double-minded, it's for your own doom. Check him out. Always listen to his words. The Father says, you listen to what he tells you. You don't look at what he's doing. Listen to what he's telling you. If you follow the instructions, boom, you'll be saved. If you look at Adam and Eve, they didn't follow the instructions. The Father gave them the instructions. They went away from it. They did their own thing. They leaned onto their own understanding. But right now, he's speaking to all of us through Yasha. So we're supposed to listen to what Yasha is telling us. Truth Colors, that's where the truth is. The way, the truth, and the lie. Yeah, my boy.
Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it, fam. I do.
All right, you gonna cut it?
Yeah.
All right, fam.
CME family, thank you for subscribing and supporting my Patreon channel, where the truth is not biased, it's absolute. I dedicate this channel through Nzambi Zulu to the awakening of my people and discovering who they truly are, to bring out information and revelation that they may not see anywhere else. And as we embark on this journey together, feel free to shop with us. OBYU, featuring our brand, Goshen Black. You can also purchase New Truth music from me, your boy Heart of Song, aka Music, featuring Etana, Nzambi, JG, The Messenger, and other great artists on CD Baby and iTunes. It's time to awaken to the truth and power. Aren't you tired of being lied to? Truth speaks. Truth awakens. Truth colors.
Other Psalms.
Revelations. If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark into his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Satan cast into the lake of fire. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. The great white throne. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it faced the earth. And the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was in the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their works, in death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. But I will tell you what will happen to cowards and to everyone who is unfaithful or dirty-minded or who murders or is sexually immoral or uses witchcraft or worships idols or tell lies